Okay, go with your seats. A mold? Like how every single building has it and it's making students sick?
Here's the problem. So I have like at least one person pushing it seriously today, like with actual complaints. And
Yeah.
it's probably it's hard to decipher whether or not
Yeah, I've been around.
yeah.
And then I put in the request, they fixed it. They said they came in, but it was the same. So I put in another one, and they came in and they were recorded.
I'm doing okay.
Oh, that's just
I'm in there.
again. She was like, oh, that's my fault.
Nice
And then
job.
I got
I thought that we had
Good job.
from students, and it's like, but I'm like, the responses have already been made.
I don't know what I want for dinner.
I also haven't figured out what
Something quick, but I know that's not what my stomach wants. Like,
Go get her.
Can we make a motion to condemn? What is it? What's the service? Whoever the repairman is.
Oh,
Yeah, I work with them at the Central Food Facility. It's always like hi.
nice.
Student concerns with
Where's the work?
I think we need to do that at this point. This is pretty bad.
Also, my brain like did a moment because I'm in like Senate mode right now, and so when they said Juniper, I was like, Juniper, what? And I was like, no, the other Juniper, my partner's roommate, who I currently sort of live with,
Testimonials.
unofficially.
It's not
and I think that might be better.
Tonight, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm fine. Could be. I think that
oh,
would
new
work.
business.
I'm all for just
Oh, addition.
What?
So if it works, it's fine.
Okay, and for addition, all I
Down
do
for that.
is
We need what? An
say
email?
there
We
are
have five
Face
additions,
to face,
Senate resolution.
They get it.
do I have to name
probably.
Hey, Nate.
it? Nate, can you
Nate.
Nate, can you come over
Here,
here?
get it fixed.
Do I have for the new business? Do I for the addition to agenda? Do I need to name every single addition, or do I just need 5 additions?
Eliza did off and on, so it's honestly dependent on you, whatever you feel like.
We have 7 pieces. I might as well just say we have 5.
We have 5 additions to the
Yeah.
agenda. You can say resolution 60, 22, 23, 67 to resolution 22. Yeah, will be added to the agenda because we don't have to vote on it since JP already approved it.
Right. Budget for it.
And it would be giving back.
It would be. I like this idea.
Oh my god, yeah.
Today,
Leave.
We have DNI, and so like. This is just right here. There's Dr. Bruce right there. And she lives literally just right here.
Oh, you said.
Hold on.
Arizona.
Oh, perfect.
And then
Thank you.
if you can give me another one, I can put it up in the ACR business. ARC? ACR. Academic Research Center. ARC.
yeah.
ARC.
Thank you.
Shit. Give me this when I do office hours because I didn't bring it up.
Okay. Will you be in there on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, me too. Junie, come here. Hello. Come here. Sit down. That was disrespectful. Come here.
Jungi. Is that Junie's name? She's not doing that. She plays by her own rules.
Thursday.
In strength conditioning relationship, that was what's going on.
Yes.
Right, that's
I'm the diet.
You need to sit in your chair.
Alright.
You sat by all your friends. So sit down.
That's not what I want. 6 to 7. February 9th. Thursday. February 9th.
Token. Yeah. You're so close.
Please open. November 6th. And we will continue to be open through our grade.
I literally just saw her. There she is. Okay. I just heard somebody try to open up that back door. I think a couple people are getting stuck. Hey, Kathy.
Is Chad back there? Chad usually comes in there.
That's my thing. I think a couple people are usually coming through that back door and then it's not unlocked.
Which is an issue because Chad usually comes back through there.
I know.
Chad thinks-
There he
There he
is.
is. He's definitely going to the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay, how about
go ahead and get.
where's Luke?
Okay. It's so crazy. I call this meeting to order. Are there any students to speak out this evening? All right, seeing none, we will now proceed to our ooh. Are there any announcements? Yeah, thank you. Are there announcements for the body tonight? I just have one announcement. Tonight, please, during the presentation, if you don't have the agenda up or Student Senate related stuff on your laptop, please close your laptop and pay attention to the presenters. It's really important that we do that. But that's the only announcement I have. Now, I would like to introduce the VP, Dr. Salome Normelli, and Dr. Doreen Bruce from our Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Welcome. Good.
No.
just see all the posters that are on campus that talk about making respect. And I actually got a compliment meeting with a group of colleagues from all over the nation. One of them visited campus over the weekend, and she gave us a shout out. Actually, all the posters on the campus that on how important. But I was a colleague who was here and giving us one of the initiatives that we did, this is I said, my culture is not a costume, and get it through following. This was an initiative that was started by students. I grew up in Nigeria, and it's there, my 10 years. And the clothes that I wear there is not a costume, but I wear every day, right? So imagine when I come to this culture and wear them as costume. There's a disrespect of my culture and a lack of understanding. One of the things, this is not to annoy anyone. This is to call attention to the fact that we need to have conversations, right? And one of the feedback we got was people from other cultures wear American clothes. We don't wear American clothes as costumes. We wear them as clothes, just like you wear them here, right? So that's the difference in terms of the appropriate other people's culture, that aspect, that understanding. Not only shows ignorance, but of this, right? And since we're trying to prove culture of respect here, call attention like that. Yeah, there are differences in culture, right? All those outfits of they mean things in this. Wear them and appropriate them without. So that's part of the culture. I had asked your president one of the things that you wanted me to talk about today. So I wanted to just talk about this on the highlights of some of the stuff that we just did. Earlier this year, we tried to combine the Multicultural Center and the Office of Doctor. In the process of trying to combine those, but that will require hiring more staff to be able to allow us to keep handling. Right now, we have 5 positions. We have the director, the associate director, assistant director. I'm happy to announce the last 2 will be a reality at least within the next 2 weeks. So we're very happy about that. So I'm moving forward, right? The top 3 we're working on. So hopefully by soon, we'll be able to have the centers fully staffed so that we can offer you the type of students have also asked about the Multicultural Center Innovation Project, and we're making progress on that too, right? Anyone who's built a house here? The parents built a house? Nobody? Watch the house being built? Thank you. You don't have to physically build one, but you watch one being built. It goes through a lot of process, right? From design to redesign to revision to funding and so on. And that's what we've been doing. Renovation of the multicultural. It's not as easy as most of I would like it to be, right? I would like to take my eye out, not my thing, and everything is in place and
Well, we can take questions at the very,
I did?
yeah, yeah,
Sorry, Arthur.
but you'll be first.
Some of the things that we're, Dr. Bruce, Vanessa, and Joel are planning for the spring semester, I think it's really great. All right, some of the things that we've done, also question about the RFP. The RFP is the audit, right? So the president is during the spring semester had promised students that we'll have an external group come here and kind of do an audit. Asking the essential question of how are we doing, right, in Vietnam. So that is also a process. We've been working on this since June, and I am keeping my fingers crossed, really. It's really tight here that hopefully, maybe by the time we come back from Thanksgiving holiday, that we sign it. We are working on all of these things. And once that process begins, we'll come back here because we want to know what we think, different aspects of our work here. Some of the stuff that we've done in terms of working with faculty as well as staff and administrative staff. I want to highlight the third one, which is the establishment of the president, including excellence in the cabinet. And that was one of the things that the president promised us. And we do have that established. And we have
About
about 20 students who are active in the cabinet, and we meet monthly about the feedback of the president, really how we're doing addressing the issue. Companion to that is also the Black Alumni Presidential Advisory Council, which is monthly. Some of the other stuff that was done. I want to highlight the opportunity hire fund program revision is really important to me. I think it's fun that allows us to bring in more faculty and staff here. I know some of you are asking, some of our faculty have left this institution to go somewhere else. Some of our staff members have left to go somewhere else. What are we doing? Provost office is doing a lot of stuff, but the opportunity hire fund is one way that the DNI office is participating, helping to recruit more faculty and staff, and then providing them the resources that allow them to, right? So that's one thing that we've done. The other thing that we've done also is embedded counseling in the DNI office, and I really want to emphasize this because not every institution does that. I was at a former institution where I worked really, really hard. There's somebody embedded in this DNI office. So here I was. I didn't have to work really hard. I was already here before I came, right? And this is your opportunity to talk to somebody free of charge. When you graduate, guess what? You have to pay for it. So when you're here, it's free. So make use of it. It's probably a counselor doesn't tell you what to do. But sometimes all we need to do is just share our story, our feelings. Somebody else, right? It's not going to judge us. And if we want to, they can ask us a couple of questions that allow us to come to our own reflecting about what it is that we're doing. That's what counseling is. People say I talk about my children, and I do. I say I kind of attached to me. And they've all gone through the college experience, and I've always advised them to get into college, to make use of this person, including, going to the counselor. That keeps cooking, drink fun, talk to somebody. You don't have to wait till it's done. You're already waiting for it. Because people will take the risk. We also have the Ohio Men of Excellence Network, which is up in Bruce Street, and right now we have about 42 students. Okay, and this is another opportunity for you to socialize with the men of color and coffee with my friends. So for me, it's cookies and coffee. For you, like cookies and tea or cookies and punch. And just come in a very informal atmosphere. And have a conversation. Ask me about my life. Ask Dr. Bruce about his life. I mean, have that conversation. But that's where we're. So I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay? If you can make it, and if you can, that's okay. The goal is to do it this month so that we can meet as many students. Okay, so I'm ready for your questions.
Thank you. Questions from the body? Commissioner Behringer, you can go ahead.
How are Black students being connected to alumni here on campus if they're not associated?
Can you make sure you speak up too?
The question I was asking is how are students connected to the alumni, right? If they're not part of any alumni. That's a very good question. I don't know. That's really something we haven't focused on.
I would just say that the one way that we know that our students get connected to alumni is through participation in our programs and student organizations. There's also the alumni network online, so we can start communicating with students about how to get connected to the alumni network. But you're right, if you're not involved, then there's not really a way to get connected to the alumni, right? And if students want to do that, there's ways to do that online, right? But students may not always know that. So it's a good question. I don't know how they're doing that. Do you? No.
It's a difficult one because we have programs and we have, different things that we do to connect students, but if you're not part of that, I don't know how we can connect.
Yeah, it's a good question. I can tell you, for instance, the guys in the Omen program are all being connected to alumni men of color on campus through the program that are connected to their major or somehow connected to a pathway for their career. And we work really closely with the Alumni Association, with the ASOL, the Career Development Office, to make sure that those connections are being made for those students. So if you're connected through these programs, we're definitely making those connections. But for those students that aren't.
I mean, you're always welcome to come talk to us in our offices, right? But really the best way, connected students do well, right? It's not just being connected to their alum, but connected to them. And we've always did that support system with them.
Thank you. Commissioner Gillett.
Is there anything that you see overwhelmingly that students ask for, like predominantly this one thing, and especially my question is focused towards something that maybe we could add to the new multicultural center. So maybe they ask for, they need clothes, and so maybe we could just open some of the students are coming from warm climates, and so they need warm clothes. Or is it socialization? Is it something where they need to be more of a rec center? Is there something predominantly that you see POC students wanting more of?
I think that the one thing we've heard resoundingly is that they want a space to be able to gather and to have events and have programs, and so that's going to be the biggest part of the new space, is this space, an open space that's comfortable for gathering and for just being, right? I think that's resoundingly from everyone, we've heard that. And then there's all these other things, we want to put in a couple of technology rooms, not computer labs, but technology rooms where people can go and hook up and do small group study spaces, right? So we heard that. We heard that a couple people said a quiet space, some spaces where they can go and study, right? Those are some things that we pass along to the architect. We are at the stage of working with the architect to come up with conceptual drawings for the space. And so we're hoping that at the beginning of next semester, we'll be able to begin to start to show what a conceptualized vision of the center might be. we've heard is that they want to make sure it's a space for all students of color, and making sure that like that's represented in the artwork in the space. Many of the students have like said that they wanted us to like give them space to like mark the space themselves. And so like there would be a space for the LSU that would be like for the Latino and Hispanic students, and there would be a space for the Black students and a space for the AAPI students to be kind of like put some stuff up, right? That's another thing.
We have to make it a truly intercultural space, right? So that everybody's welcome.
Questions?
So you talked a little bit about like the Cookies with the VP initiative, and kind of along those lines, I'm wondering what plans or initiatives that DNI has to kind of help make the spaces more, like you mentioned, intercultural, because I've often found that, you know, the Women's Center has a certain clientele of people who would go to it. The LGBT Center has a certain group of people who go to it. And the Multicultural Center has a certain group of people who go to it. And so a lot of people don't feel comfortable going into those spaces if they have varying intersectional identities. So I'm just kind of wondering what initiatives are kind of coming down from that top level to kind of make those spaces more inclusive and engage in that intercultural competency.
Good question.
You can go.
That and then you're right, right? It's a challenge, right? And also there's a lot of issues too. I think from my perspective is what we're doing right now to make sure that we extend the invitation to everyone to know that it's home, right? That it's not just a very specific group of people, right? One of the things that we're also doing is been to the cultural center lately. We also have different student workers of all identities, right, and work there, right? And that's strategic because it makes you feel comfortable to know that when you come into that space, you will find people that kind of look like you a little bit, right? And also, as part of that design is making sure that students have a voice in terms of what we put there, in terms of drawing, the paintings, make it like home, right? And then finally, the programming, right, that we can partly will be kind of a little bit challenging because we still are short-staffed, right? But the goal is to get a fully functional division where the programming is as robust as we can do, as we find places. And if you have programming, right, that address the needs of students, they'll come, right? And we're going to need everybody's ideas and everybody's voice as we begin to go through this program. One of the things that, Dr. Brooks is planning for spring is this Friday night. Okay. So the students have told us that maybe on Friday night they don't want to go to fellowship, right? They want to come to the center where they feel safe and warm, like everybody told. So we'll have different events there for students so they can come. And it's not for very specific, it's for everybody. And I say that all the time. This is an educational institution, and it's for everybody. And the Multicultural Center, whatever we choose to call it, is home to represent the identities we have on this campus. So that everybody feels at home. And we celebrate when we value that every single person in this institution
Visible.
So you're all visible. So you're all welcome. And let me put this as a challenge, right? You're not going to the Multicultural Center. You don't feel welcome, fine, you let me know. I want to hear that, right? Because if I don't hear it and Dr. Bruce doesn't hear it, then we can address it. So just be our eyes, be our ears, and let us know what you think, what you feel, to give us the opportunity to be able to.
I think that Dr. Normilli started off with a really good point. History. Some of these spaces have been staked for years, since as long as the Baker Center has been the Baker Center, and then they were in other places on campus, and those places were staked as well. And I think that we need to do a lot of education with some of our student leaders to help them open up, because I've heard a lot, I've had some conversations about how even some students feel like there's no way to get into some of these groups. Feels like there's a wall, feels like there's some rudeness, it feels like there's some, we don't want you. And so I think we have to also look at ourselves and think about that history and kind of unpack that, not with just the staff, but with our students too. Because very quickly, within the semester, you all have picked up on the tradition and who's supposed to be where and who's supposed to go where and what spaces are supposed to be for what folks. Y'all know, right? Yeah? No? Am I wrong? You don't know? You don't know? You all know. Right? And so we need to be, that's a culture thing. And we need to maybe look at that across the board. And it's not just D&I. Looking at some of my colleagues in student affairs too, we have to do that. We have to do that work together. Because there aren't, because we won't shift. That's a culture thing that we need to shift.
I have another question. So I know last year, one of the points that students brought up was how D&I is going to be rooted in the education that we receive at Ohio University, specifically in our learning communities for our first-year students. I wonder if there's any updates regarding that.
Sure, I can talk a little bit about what we did this year.
Yes.
So last year, we did an inaugural diversity in Ohio module. It was a one-day module during the learning community. Before that, there was some conversation about diversity inclusion, but it didn't take a deeper dive. This one took a deeper dive. It was connected to make respect visible. It was talking about bias, what it is. It was talking about what our expectations are, how we get bias. Well, this year, we took it a step further. We got good feedback, because we always need good feedback. We got good feedback about the curriculum. We were able to work with our colleagues in the first office to expand it to 2 days this year, so the students in the majority of the learning communities were part of a 2-day curriculum. The first day, exploring social identities and relationship to power and privilege, what bias is. The second day, taking a deeper dive into how to intervene if you see bias happening, what the university's expectations are for engaging respectfully across differences, and then what how to report bias. Is it working? I'll tell you, I think it is, because I think Kathy and I, Dean Paul and I, can tell you that we're getting bias incident reports. I mean, we more than I've gotten in the 3 years that I've been here. So is that I think we are educating the community. I think that's one way we're seeing it working. We will get feedback at the end of this year. Is this perfect? No. 98% of our first-year students take a learning community class, and I would say that 80% of them, the learning communities instructors, have followed our curriculum. Have they all followed it? No. Is that something that we're working on constantly? We did do training with the faculty in the learning community. We did training with the learning community. You all were there. So we talked about this and that with them. But you all know faculty can do what they want, and some of them adjust the curriculum. But I would say 80% of our faculty are off the curriculum. That's a lot.
But I think part of it too is we know that D&I work is never finished, right? Because society keeps changing, we keep changing, and we keep growing, so we continuously have to adapt, right? So I think that's paying attention that it's helping our faculty members also, work with their own curriculum and things they do in the classroom, which may have been acceptable, right, 10 years ago, but it's no longer acceptable, because I grew up as faculty, if I can tell you, and make sure that even like what's going on in society, can't tell faculty what to do or what not to do, right? They have autonomy. What we do is to offer programming and events, and hopefully they come, and training, just like we did during the summer beginning of the year, so that we can keep it impactful to our faculty.
Yeah, we have a few minutes left. I wanted to ask if there's any final questions. If not, I have one. Go ahead, Commissioner Barrington. Actually, yeah. After. Mhm.
What you can do? Oh, yeah. We are ambassadors of everything, right? The walk of diversity and inclusion is not just for the name of me, or the people in the BNI. The walk of BNI is for everyone, right? The goal of BNI is to create a society where we all live in peace, right? And we feel like we know that we belong, right? So wherever you are, whatever space you occupy, right, it is your responsibility to make sure that the people within that space feel welcome, right? And that difference, the fact that we're all different from each other, right? And different doesn't matter. And it's celebrated. So that's one way we can help us, right? Is to own your own space, and to be an within your space and understand it to your friends. And then if there are gaps that you see, you know, let us know. And then we can work together.
I would say this, if you see something happening, say something. This is part of Make Respect Visible. But if you see a bias incident happening, don't just turn your head. If you're in a group of your friends and they're telling gay jokes, say, that's not cool. Intervene. Because that's when our culture is going to change. And like Dr. Solomon said, we are all in this together. It's not just us folks in BNI that are doing this work. When we become something different as a university, it's when all of you become a part of the solution. So if you see something, say something. I used to live in New York City, and every time I get on the subway, I would hear, if you see something, say something. If you see a bias incident happening, if you hear someone using racial epithets, say, stop, man, that's not cool. Let's intervene, because that's when we become something. And that's something that everyone in our community needs.
All right, final question. Yeah.
I know there was a lot of talk about like how we're educating first year students on like all these different ideas, but how are we making sure that like second, third, fourth years and beyond that are still to retain that information or return inside 2 days freshman or junior versus their second semester?
Father, it's everywhere, every day. It's all over social. You can't walk on this campus without being reminded of what those expectations are. We do focus on the first year experience because that's when we have our students as a captive audience. It's the only time that we have our students as a captive audience is when they're coming into the university because y'all go like this. Like after that, you just go like this, right? And so we try to find a ways to get in at the beginning. And I will tell you, I had a faculty member stop me the other day and say, hey, I just want to thank you because the work you all are doing is making a difference. And I can tell in the classroom. It's not going to happen overnight. We've got 2 classes under us, and in 2 more years, we're going to have everyone on campus that have like this major intervention with Make Respect Visible and our expectations. Phases, stages, and steps, as I always say. We have to keep working. We have to keep putting the message out there. We've been tabling. We've trying to get in all the places that we can, and there's still more work to be done. Kathy, Dr. Dean Paul and I were in a meeting this afternoon where we're talking about what we're going to do in the spring semester, right? After Thanksgiving, when you come back, Make Respect Visible is going all the way down Court Street on all the poles, light posts on Court Street. So this is getting into the Athens community very quickly, and we're going to continue to expand this. But something like this is like a whole culture shift that And that doesn't happen in 0 to 100 or one big cycle. It happens over time. And 2 years in, we're already starting to see some shifts.
I think to Commissioner Barganer's point is, are there any strategic implementations into second, third, or fourth year curriculum or activities or whatnot that we can expect DNI to try to put forward, or
I'd be
something?
open to hearing whatever ideas that Student Senate has. And I think another way that you can support is to help us
With
put
ideas.
those up. For sure. There's nothing in the curriculum because we have to work through different schools to do that. We are having conversations with folks in the College of Business, for instance,
Right.
on ways that we can like build it in the future. It's part of the experiential learning
Mhm.
milestones actually make us like visible in there. So students who are engaging in ways that are around these expectations can actually count that
As
one
credit.
of their experiential learning milestones later on in their school year. So we're working those different angles. It's not perfect yet.
Right.
And like that's another way that you all can.
I hear what it's always, further, but I hear what you're saying. Sometimes it looks like nothing is happening, right? But what is happening? But we're open to ideas, so let us know how we can help.
Last one.
Good to see you both. Thanks so much for being here tonight. You talked about ways that those of us in the room could intervene. Could you also give some examples of what should be reported and how to make a bias incident report, or where to make that report?
So we made it easy. If you know respect, you can find the report. If you go to ohio.edu/respect, on that page, there's a block that says report a bias incident, and all the information about the university's policies and everything are there, and the report. Anything can be reported. That is considered bias, right? So we've seen reports of people who have on their whiteboards in the residence halls had something written on it that was derogatory. You don't have to know who did it to report it. Reporting it helps us to know what educational initiatives we need to put up and where. So even if you don't know who it is, it's like a signal to us like, hey man, in the residence hall, we're seeing this happening over and over again, so we need to put up some programs and do some education and pull some people together in this area around whatever topic is relevant based on what we're seeing in the report. So we don't have to necessarily know the who. We just need to know what's happening. And that's the importance of the report. It helps us to understand what educational initiatives we need to on.
Two things about that. One, when we always talk about recording incidents, be safe, right? If you see somebody who's drunk and is using racial slurs, that's not the time to go, face to face, what you're doing is wrong, right? Because you may not be safe, right? So use caution when you're confronting people, because I've seen people who, after some presentation, will, well, yeah, what you're doing is wrong, and then get into a fight. And the audience doesn't do that, right? So know how to intervene, right? I don't know if you've done the bystander intervention strategies, right? So confrontation is not always the best policy. There are certain strategies to use, right? To be able to know that, say something or distract, right? Or come back later and say, hey, what you said was really inappropriate, and then report it. The other thing about reporting, I'm getting this from students all the time. They think, well, when I report an incident, then something is going to happen immediately, right? And no, when you report an incident, what it does for us is it allows us to be able to gauge the type of activities that are happening on campus, right? So that we can strategically do programming and
Thank
If you
you.
file a bias incident report, you can expect that somebody from either DNI or the Dean of Students Office or Residence Life is going to reach out to you. Because our very first focus, whenever a bias incident report is reported, is to make sure the person reporting is okay, is safe, and has the support that they need. So if you file a report, somebody will follow up with you.
Thank you so much for coming. Will the Chief of Staff please call roll?
President Shoulders,
Present.
Vice President Cooley,
Present.
Treasurer Robinson,
Present.
Senator Handel, Senator Zanatelli,
Present.
Senator Dickens, Senator DeMonte, Senator Phelps, Senator McCarty,
Present.
Senator Thomas, Commissioner Bargainer, Senator McMullen, Commissioner Hibbs, Commissioner Gordillo, Senator Lopez, Commissioner Gillette, here, Senator Bacasio,
Present.
Senator Alashidley. Have to tell me how to pronounce your name after this. Commissioner Peters,
Roxy.
Commissioner Parker, Senator Lightning, Commissioner Zargoff, Commissioner Lewis, proxy, Senator Tandon, Senator Davis, Senator Spinner Smith, Senator Huntsman,
Present.
Senator Wolf, Commissioner Ajay, Clerk of Court Seiler, present, Commissioner Handel. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, forgot your name. We have four.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on the previous meeting minutes? Are there any objections to approving the previous meeting minutes? Seeing none, minutes are approved. We have 5 additions to the agenda tonight: Senate Resolution 2223-67 through Senate Resolution 2223-71. And there is no old business. Okay. We can start off with Senate Resolution 2223-65, a resolution to appoint a senator to the Minority Affairs Commission. Whereas there is a student senate at Ohio University, and whereas the rules and procedures states that there shall be senators within the Minority Affairs Commission, and whereas there is currently a vacancy for senators in the Minority Affairs Commission, and whereas applications were solicited and interviews conducted, be it resolved that Reese Morris be appointed as senator of the Minority Affairs Commission for the 2022-2023 academic year, and be it further resolved that this appointment be effective immediately following the adjournment of this meeting. Primary sponsor, Ms. Trinity Robinson.
Yes, I had the opportunity of interviewing Reese, and it was amazing. He was very passionate about accessibility on campus and creating an inclusive environment for people with disabilities, and as well as highlighting some of the issues that we currently have. So I'm very confident in his overall ability to add an amazing addition to the Minority Affairs Commission, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Secondary sponsor, Mix Nathaniel Padilla.
Yeah, Bruce is interviewing actually really well. He's actually sitting back there right now. He wants to do his best to raise the voices of students with disabilities on campus, and he actually has a personal connection and feels that those for our so I believe it's a pretty strong campus and that he can feel powerful advocating for minority.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Do I hear a motion?
Move to vote.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-65. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Senate Resolution 2223-66, a resolution to purchase new plaques for members emeriti. Whereas the Ohio Student Senate Rules and Procedures require there to be a committee on the budget, and whereas the Committee on the Budget met with quorum to discuss the Ohio University Student Senate budget, and whereas the committee approved the budget below, and so be it resolved that Ohio University Student Senate confirms the requested budget amount below. Item description: 24 plate oak perpetual nameplate plaque. Price, I think it's back.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
quantity and price are backwards on the template.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll just read it correctly out loud then. Price $94.25, quantity 4 for a total of $377.00. Engraving through OU Printing Services, which is one quantity, but the price of $191 for a total of $191, which adds up to a grand total of $568.00. Primary sponsor, Mr. Brady Phelps.
Yeah, so, I submitted everything correctly. Flash, checking out. Really,
Secondary sponsor, Ms. Molly Pennington.
Yeah, I'm sure that all of you have seen our sad little plaque hanging in the Senate office with about 20, 25 plates missing on it. So this was a project that I kind of started last semester when I was chair of the Member Emeriti Committee. And it was just something that I didn't have time to finish before the year ended. So this is a kind of continuation of that. It's a really important way to honor our history and to honor the members who have given so much to us throughout their time at Ohio University. And I think that this is going to be a valuable way to not only honor those members emeriti, but also make stronger connections with our alumni. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
Move to friendly amend this legislation to swap the price and quantity label.
Thank you. Any other discussion? It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-66. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Senate Resolution 2223-67, a resolution to update rules and procedures on election results storage. Whereas the judicial panel is tasked with supplying interpretations of the rules and procedures when necessary, and whereas under the current rules and procedures, Chapter 13, Section 22, subsection H, II states, paper copies of the election results shall be stored in secure location in the Student Senate office. And whereas this section shall be updated to reflect the current practices of our institution, and whereas digital copies of election results have been used for several years, and they are more efficient and accessible than paper copies, and whereas the judicial panel met with quorum to discuss this issue, so therefore be it resolved, Chapter 13, Section 22, subsection HII shall read, after the results are official, the results shall be recorded digitally and stored in a folder with former election results. And be it further resolved, the rules and procedures be updated to reflect this change immediately as shown in Appendix A, which is seen on the screen. Primary sponsor, Jalen Tolbert.
Yes, upon reviewing this section of Chapter 13, I believe that it was outdated and should be updated. No longer using obsolete ways that were shown. That is very predominant.
Thank you. Secondary sponsor, Soren Starkley.
I agree with everything Jalen said. This is obsolete. Election results haven't been stored as physical copies for a long time, especially when COVID derailed everything. It became
kind of infeasible and inaccessible. It is far easier to open a folder on the computer, and you're much less likely to lose those former election results if they're stored digitally instead of relying on these copies of paper. And yeah, that was it.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-67. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Next, Senate Resolution 2223-68, a resolution to change the time of polls. Whereas the judicial panel is tasked with supplying interpretations of the rules and procedures when necessary, and whereas the rules and procedures 13.05 states, the election for all executive officers, senators, and Senate Appropriations Commission representatives at large shall be on the Tuesday of the 12th week of spring semester. Polls shall open that Tuesday at 7 and shall remain open until 0700 and shall remain open until 1900. And whereas a 24-hour voting window gives students additional time to vote, particularly for students employed or in class, most often between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And whereas functioning on a full day timeline lessens confusion regarding voting hours. And whereas the judicial panel met with quorum to discuss this issue, so therefore be it resolved, the voting polls will open at 12 a.m. and will remain open until 11:59 p.m. Therefore, be it further resolved that the rules and procedures 13.05 be updated to reflect this change immediately as shown in Appendix A, which is on screen. Primary sponsor, Aurora Parker.
So Aurora wanted me to let you guys know that the panel wanted this revision to happen so that students have more time to actually vote in the elections. As we all know, a 7 a.m. to a 7 p.m. deadline, that 12-hour window is not going to provide a lot of students adequate time to actually vote, considering, like Aurora mentioned in the resolution, work and/or classwork. And yeah, with this 24-hour voting window, hopefully it will give students more opportunity to actually vote and not miss that 7 p.m. deadline every day. With that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you. Secondary sponsor, Soren Starkey.
To go off of what Aurora wanted to say, not only will this 24-hour voting window give people a greater opportunity to vote, but also as college students, we're used to functioning on like a 24-hour time, where our assignments are due at 11:59. So even if people are well aware that the election is on Tuesday, they might just put off doing it. And procrastinating doing it even when they maybe shouldn't isn't a good enough reason for them to miss voting because they assumed it ended at the end of the day instead of an arbitrarily picked time on a Tuesday. This will the only thing that this can do is allow more students to vote, which should be one of our goals in our life, to get as many students as possible.
Is there any discussion on this resolution?
Move to friendly amend 12 in the appendix to remove that.
Point of information, I do believe that's the correct spelling of 12, is with the F.
Interesting. Okay.
I've never seen it spelled like that.
I mean, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Do I hear a motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-68. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Next, Senate Resolution 2223-69, a resolution to amend the rules and procedures for Class C violations for student Senate elections. Whereas the judicial panel is tasked with supplying interpretations of the rules and procedures when necessary for Senate election matters, and whereas under the current rules and procedures, Chapter 13, Section 30, there are classifications that aim to specify fines in accordance to specific violations that may occur during the Senate election. And whereas current Senate elections do not use the mentioned polling places, and no fines have been issued in recent elections for violations of CIV. And whereas future administrations of Student Senate need an updated list of violations representing the practices of current Senate methods in elections. And whereas the judicial panel met with quorum to discuss this issue, so therefore be it resolved that Chapter 13, Section 30, subsection C, Part IV be removed, and be it further resolved that the rules and procedures be updated to reflect this change as shown in Appendix A immediately. And on screen. Primary sponsor, Ms. Emily Seiler.
So yeah, pretty much as something that the judicial panel and pretty much all of you guys have been seeing this entire semester, we are trying to keep our rules and procedures consistent with what we see now. We only do online voting for election day, and we've been doing that for the last few years, so we no longer have physical polling places, so this is just something that doesn't really need to actually be a violation anymore because it cannot happen. Thought I reserved the balance of my time.
Thank you. Secondary sponsor, Mr. Soren Starkey.
I just want to give a little bit of context for why we originally had this. So when the rules and procedures were created, it was a little bit less feasible for people to always have their phones and laptops on them. So these polling places were initially where there were first paper copies of the elections, and then places like the library and anywhere where there might be laptops, just so that people wouldn't have the influence of campaign materials while they were voting. But now we're voting on our phones. Most of us are voting on our phones. Like we get an email, we respond to it. So this doesn't really do anything. Like wherever you're voting, having campaign materials within 50 feet is just something that's likely to happen. And in order to make voting more accessible and campaigning more feasible, this isn't doing much.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
I have a question. Is there any event where we would have to do polling or voting, I should say, by ballot? Let's just say there was a tornado the day before an election day, and so nothing is working, all the internet is down, whatever. Would voting just be postponed until the electronics come back up, or would you, right? Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Good question.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-69. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Senate Resolution 2223-70, a resolution to remove Chapter 13, Section 12 of the Rules and Procedures and update procedures regarding technology in elections. Whereas the judicial panel is tasked with supplying interpretations of the rules and procedures when necessary, and whereas the current rules and procedures, Chapter 13, Section 12, use of technology, explains that procedures regarding technology, including but not limited to web pages, emails, and electronic communication, and whereas the information contained in 13.12 falls under the jurisdiction of the following sections of Chapter 13, Section 11, campaigning generally, Section 13, campaigning tickets, and Section 20, passive campaign. And whereas 13.12 is, in cases such as the use of web pages, redundant, and in its position in the rules and procedures may confuse candidates seeking to understand the rules of elections. And whereas the judicial panel met with quorum to discuss this issue, so therefore be it resolved, Chapter 13, Section 12 be removed from the rules and procedures, and be it further resolved, Chapter 13, Sections 11 and 13 be updated to incorporate clear procedures regarding technology and digital campaigning, and be it further resolved, the rules and procedures be updated to reflect this change immediately as shown in appendices A, B, and C. Primary sponsor, Soren Starkey.
So this change is intended to overall just make campaigning easier for people that want to participate in the Senate and be part of this election. The rules and procedures is kind of a daunting document. It's long, and for people that are campaigning, not even in the Senate yet, it's not a realistic expectation of them to think that they're going to read the entire rules and procedures in its entirety. if they're campaigning, the parts of the rules and procedures that they're likely to look at are the parts that are titled campaigning. And some of these sections already describe what happens with the use of technology. They already say that you can't use university funding for your campaign. And things like that are already contained within sections 11, 13, and 20. So this section on the use of technology is redundant in cases like that, but in cases where the use of technology does need clarified, it should be clarified in those sections on campaigning, where people are actually going to read and see them, and not in a separate section that they have to actively seek in order to know that it describes campaigning expectations and not just a section that they aren't familiar with about use of technology. So overall, this is just to make campaigning easier for the people that actually want to campaign. With that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you. Secondary sponsor, Mr. Jalen Tolbert.
When this was brought to my attention and I looked at after being informed to do so by Soren, I saw that for myself that I agreed that it was redundant, and I also felt it was important to emphasize the accessibility. That is really all that I have to add. So I will look on my mind.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-70. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Final one. Senate Resolution 2223-71, a resolution to amend the Rules and Procedures, Chapter 13, Section 31. Whereas the judicial panel is tasked with supplying interpretations of the rules and procedures when necessary for Senate election matters. And whereas under the current Rules and Procedures, Chapter 13, Section 31, there are classification used to quantify punishments against candidates and tickets in Senate elections. And whereas 13.31C and E detail punishments for repeat offensive and division of fines, respectively. And whereas these disciplinary actions are vague and excessive for the violations at hand. And whereas there is an improper use of verbs that can cause confusion in interpretation for future judicial panel members. And whereas the judicial panel met with quorum to discuss this issue. So therefore, be it resolved that Chapter 13, Section 31, subsection C and E be removed from the verb revised and the verb revised in subsection F, and be it further resolved that the rules and procedures be updated to reflect this change as shown in Appendix A immediately. Primary sponsor, Ms. Emily Zeiler.
So when the panel met to actually go over all of our election revisions that we wanted to present to you guys, we discussed about how, like, repeat offenses, how, as you can see, it's crossed out now, but for each repeat offense, excepting Class F, shift to Class F by one letter. This is kind of confusing, as in, like, why would, let's say, a Class E violation become a Class D just because you repeated it twice? It just didn't make a lot of sense. So, and then also fines, we are also removing fines may be divided among multiple candidates or tickets as the panel sees fit. We kind of just saw that as almost excessive use of power, and that should be more of the ticket matter rather than necessarily just the panel. And then, you know, got to change the verbs to actually have something make sense. So yeah, with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you. Secondary sponsor, Mr. Soren Starkey.
Like most of the other resolutions that you've seen tonight, this one was just made to make the rules and procedures more accessible and to clarify some things with it. This is confusing language, and even if judicial panels in the past were comfortable just deciding on their own how to divide fines and okay interpreting unclear language, we shouldn't expect that the judicial panels or the current one are really willing to do that. And we consider it to be kind of an overstep of our power to make decisions regarding tickets fines when we're grown-ups. We can do that by ourselves. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
Friendly, I don't know how to friendly amend.
If it's your own, so you go ahead.
Okay, so for lines 12 and 13, parentheses should be cut around subsection C, E, and F. And then for the back for Appendix A, I completely forgot to shift the letters for what is currently sections D and F for 13.31. They should be C and D.
Mhm. Any discussion? It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-71. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Commissioner reports. Thank you. Just a gentle reminder to please speak up when you're talking so everyone can hear you. Yes, go. Thank you. Thank you.
Really good news yesterday. Culinary finally got back to me ending stuff, and they said by spring of next semester, or like next semester, there will be international snacks available both in the vending machines and at Jeff Market. So. As for the international trip, right now we've hit a bit of a hiccup. We just found a solution to it, so I'm waiting to hear back from admissions. But right now, admissions said that the best time for them to come visit would be during the summertime, because then it would be easiest to facilitate housing them. However, the class that is interested in coming up will have graduated to high school by then, and so the high school's like, well, we won't be affiliated with you. Do it anymore. However, most of those students are applying for the same junior. And so now we're waiting to hear back from the community college to see if they will sponsor them once they've been. So it's just figuring it out. That is in her.
Okay, we're still working on lots of projects. So Chanel's still working on meditation night and is also in discussion about the blue emergency lights and phones around campus. Kennedy's working on planning Walk a Mile in Her Shoes for spring and working on figuring out funding so we can thrift the heels. So it's kind of weird with a budget request. So I know she's going to talk to Treasurer Robinson about it. Magdalene's talking to Marty and Stewie about doing a collaborative event for women/survivor empowerment art that we want to display in Alden to pair with Take Back the Night. And then I got the raw data back from Steve Mack for our period product projects. So I've been going through it to get the proper numbers and categories for the bathrooms, and it's horrible, and lots of very small numbers and lots of bathrooms. And then Emerson is also reviewing the dorm-based bathrooms, so we want to put
trash cans in some of the stalls in the dorms because lots of them don't have it for disposing of period products, and a lot of them don't even have like small trash cans in the dorm bathrooms, and it's like left up to the RAs to put them in there, which is not, yeah, exactly, your face, which is not accessible, and you need a way to properly dispose of your period products. So we're working on that. And then we also have come up with prospective dates for all the events we want to do in the spring and are working on proposing RMP changes, just so the amount of senators we're allotting is the same between different sections of RMP. That's in my report.
Thank you.
I recently met with talked about a lot of the different issues that surround. So we were coming up on ideas and diversity and inclusion. So in the
Thank you. Yes.
So we have a couple different updates. The first of which, as far as academic affairs goes, Senator Thomas is in the early stages of planning a social between students and faculty within the Patton College to help connect people together. Senator McCarty's collaboration with the engineering ambassadors on Operation Santa is still ongoing. So please go donate if you can and also help spread the word. I'll have information on where donations can be made in my actual report itself. And then the last update that I have is Honors Tutorial College Dean Skinner has recently announced his departure from the college, which we're very sad about, but very excited for him. Senator Phelps will be working on connecting with the new interim dean once Provost Sayers appoints them, and then we'll also be starting to get involved within the process once we get a search committee formed for that dean position to make sure we have adequate student representation within that search process. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you.
I have Commissioner Lewis's report. So he says our Director for Athletic Affairs will be meeting with female athletes and faculty to see what can be done to further protect female athletes from any sexual harassment. And with that, that is the end of his report.
Thank you. Yep, Commissioner Gordias. Yes.
Laurel did not really specify what's on your report, but we've been working on reaching out with residents to find out ways to improve the residence halls, and we've also been working out some ideas to make room selection weeks less stressful.
Thank you.
Faith.
Go ahead.
Faith, you can go ahead.
Alrighty. So we met with Ann Brandon this past week and determined that doing an LGBT health-related panel or town hall would be a good event for Pride Week. They're very excited over in the Office of Health Promotions for this, so we're also really excited to have them to collab. We are also still working on reaching out to vendors for our pop-up shop and Happy Trans Awareness Week. And with that, that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Senate committee reports.
So I'm reporting for the Student Trustee Selection Committee. Today I met with Trustee Citino. We started to plan our informational sessions, which are tentatively planned for Tuesday, January 24th and Thursday, February 9th. Both of those will be at 6 p.m., hopefully in Baker 366, which is also known as the Amanda J. Cunningham Leadership Center, right behind the escalators on the 3rd floor. We're hoping to have some food there, so I'm going to be working on some budget applications so we can get some students interested to show up there. And then we've also discussed that applications will likely open November 30th, and they will continue to be open until week 5 of spring semester. And more information on that will be sent out via email and also on Senate socials and other PR-related materials. And that is the end of my report.
Sounds good. Any other Senate committee reports? Yes.
So I sent out an email before, but the Committee for Community Service and Social Activity is doing a donation drive this week for tax cover. We'll be tabling tomorrow and Friday, so please, if you have anything, come donate. It's going to be general food items and hygiene products.
Thank you. All right, we can move on. University committee reports, and if you are on a committee with someone else that's already given a report, we only need one, just to let you know. Any university committee reports? All right. Hey everyone, I hope you all are excited for the much needed break that's about to come up. Please use this time to catch up, reconnect, or even disconnect in whichever way fits you. Thank you to everyone who could make it to the town hall on Monday. Although I hoped for more students to show, it was still a great opportunity to hear and share why students should care about the Senate as our governing body. Just a few quick updates. Research is still in the works for our Aunt Flo Take a Tampon, Leave a Tampon initiative, as Commissioner Handel has said. Second, there has not been any updates regarding the recommendations provided to the university during our safety walk, but I will be following up with university leadership soon. And third, and my last thing to share tonight, is our last general body meeting on November 30th will be casual dress. So be comfy for the executive sessions that we have coming up. I really enjoy getting to know all of you as these weeks progress, and thank you all for your hard work and dedication to our Student Senate. If you have any questions about my position or Senate in general, please reach out to me via email or during my office hours. Have a great break. That's the end of my report.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to try to keep tonight's report fairly brief. So I do want to give an update to everyone that I met with the judicial panel on Monday to discuss the wellness days legislation, which we have reframed to be personal days after our conversation. The meeting went very well, and I hope that the legislation will be able to be put on the agenda for our next meeting. And that's also a really good reminder to utilize the judicial panel. I know it can seem very scary and intimidating, but they're really here to help you. We had a lot of really fun conversation. The meetings are nowhere near as formal as this. And so just go have a conversation and, talk about some rules and procedures. It's kind of fun stuff. And then I know the weather has been a little bleak lately, so I want to remind everyone to utilize the resources available to you. It can include CPS, the drop-in counseling, the drop-in counselor on the LLC on South Green. And then also, for everyone's information, Alden Library will have therapy dogs tomorrow afternoon between, I believe, 3:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. So go give them some love and get some free serotonin in return. And then, like President Shoulders mentioned, the meeting on the 30th, we will have our executive session. During this, we will be having our vote of no confidence for our executive team. And then we'll also be having our leadership team evaluations. So I just want to give everyone a reminder to please be thorough in those evaluations. Those are really good opportunities to give us feedback so we can better serve you all. And we do take all of that feedback very seriously and review it all. So just a reminder that it might be a little bit of a longer meeting, but hopefully it won't be too long. And that's the end of my report.
I don't have much to say today for my report. Just wishing everybody a safe holiday and a really safe break. Just remember to decompress this break. I have a lot to report as far as numbers go, so we'll just go on. For the Senate total, we have $44,015.92. Okay, this is wrong. For allocated not spent, we have $10,439.92. Not allocated nor spent, we have $33,576.00. For SAC total, we have $273,388.08. For our spot, we have $270,163.55. And for U Fund, $3,224.53. And these numbers that I just stated are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. Those are not in the slideshow, they're correct. So, but continuing on, there should be an expenditure report, but I'm going to announce the midterm expenditure report to the body today. An expenditure report is just, it encompasses all of the charges that have gone through our Senate account, also including our allocations where we're at, updated on those, and additionally discretionaries for the year. So as of November 16th, 2022, in August 2022, for office supplies, we did have a expenditure of capital furniture for $13,987.08. And every month we are charged for printer usage and our lease. And for August, it was $46.46. For a total of $14,033.54. For September 2022, for office supplies, the printer usage again for $56.11. Additionally, we also had our retreat, so we had refreshments for $154.08, which was also a discretionary charge as well. For a total of $210.19. For October 2022, we had a fund transfer, which is in addition to our student senate budget from the student affairs, for $19,682.00. Additionally, we had representation at the Blackburn Spencer pageant, and we bought a table for $180.00. We also had our alumni brunch, which was amazing. So we had a reimbursement to VP Cooley for $117.95. It's a lot of numbers. We also additionally had the printer usage again for $49.02 for a total of $346.97. In November 2022, we had a Students Defending Students allocation that went through the body. And out of that allocation, there were refreshments for a mixer that Students Defending Students had for $63.46. Additionally, there was also office supplies for $354.60. There was also event supplies, the Hispanic Heritage flags, that was still charged through our account for $188.65. Additionally, our Take a Tampon, Leave a Tampon allocation for tampon dispensers for $1,050 for a total of $1,656.11. Our allocated but not spent yet, we have an allocation for Pride Week for the LGBTQ plus affairs. Total expanded allocation, the allocation was expanded based on our addition to our Senate budget to $2,666.63. And allocated, not spent because we haven't spent any of it, $2,666.63. For Take Back the Night, our total expanded allocation was also $2,666.63. Allocated, not spent, $2,666.63. Continuing on to Students Defending Take a Tampon, Leave a Tampon. Our total allocated to Take a Tampon, Leave a Tampon was $3,741.35. Additionally, that was expanded based on the addition to our budget, and allocated not spent is $2,691.35. Students Defending Students, total allocated $2,000 and allocated not spent $1,581.94. And to Operation Santa, we also allocated $1,500, allocated not spent $1,500, with a total of $8,439.92. And I swear I'm almost done. My discretionary spending for the semester. So we started with retreat refreshments for $154.08. Additionally, going on to the Rusk College welcome event, there was Insomnia cookies for $243.99, terracotta pots for $49.02, soil for $4.02, and succulent plants for $70.79. From the Women's Affairs voting efforts, we had mini pumpkins for $57.25, and candy and paintbrushes for $36.41, for a total of discretionary spending of $615.56. And all these numbers are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. And that is it. Is there an addition?
Yeah. Do you have the number that was allocated to NEGA?
It's the same, $250.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Hi, everybody. So this is my regular weekly reminder. Walk your office hours, keep the office clean, and send me your reports by midnight. If you proxied for somebody, if you can just give me a brief rundown of like what you talked about and send that to the Senate email, that would be fantastic. Also, you guys don't have to clock in the office hours Wednesday through Friday next week because the university is closed and you can't get into Baker anyways because I think Baker will be closed. So enjoy your Thanksgiving break. Have fun. Go do anything other than clock your office hours. Also, just so you are all aware, every semester your points reset. So if you have points currently, you will not have them as of the start of spring semester. So next semester you all start with a clean slate. And then finally, I wish you all the most luck as your finals come up. Make sure you're finishing strong. And remember, whatever happens with your tests, papers, whatever you have, your grades do not define your worth. You are still a human being worthy of love and care. And with that, that is the end of my report.
Hi, everyone. Very, very short. Just continue to send me events and get approval on graphics and flyers. Thank you to everyone who showed up to the town hall. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. Finally, we have merch mock-ups. They're really cute, actually, and so we're in the process of working on like the printing stuff and how to get the orders out to you guys, and then just have a great rest of your week and get some sleep.
All right, so first and foremost, I wanted to say thank you for passing all the election revisions tonight that the panel presented to you. The judicial panel will be putting out all the information about elections, though, such as the timeline in our election handbook, hopefully by the end of this semester. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me in the office, Sora NRM, or Graduate Assistant Padilla. As a reminder, though, please do not discuss forming election tickets in the Senate office. I do not like yelling at people. I like being that happy personality in the office that makes Lavina go a little crazy. But yeah, so just a reminder. And any more RMP revisions that are to be presented this semester need to be sent to the panel by 5 p.m. this Friday. And if you have any questions about RMP, just once again, reach out to JP or Grad Assistant Padilla. And we are still looking for 3 more associate justices. And if you know anyone that is interested in JP or even Senate, please send, yes, Academic Affairs Commissioner, help Lavina out, guys. The applications will be open on their respective Bobcat Connect pages. And then lastly, please remember to take time for yourselves. Take a breather, go read a good book, go get some coffee before, we head into final season. And that's the end of my report.
Now I can make my report.
There we go.
Thanks everybody who came out to the town hall every evening. Appreciate your time and support of our execs and our Senate. To all of you, thanks for your continued presence on Wednesday nights. It is cold outside. It's kind of blustery, and we appreciate you being here. And just to echo what those before me have said, I hope you have a wonderful, happy, and slightly festive Thanksgiving break. Only slightly. I've learned.
Don't go overboard.
Yeah.
I am excited that you all will get some time off next week. I know you all need it, and take good use of that time to catch up on some homework, have some time with family and friends, and do some things for yourself. Also, it might be a good time to start the FAFSA for 2023. I know it's everyone's favorite topic, but it is a good time. Your parents, you might be with them. So you can say, let's try to remember what that password was we set so long ago and get that thing rolling. Because we want you all to have the support they need. Also, on the positive side, the scholarships application is open again for next year. So that's due February 1st. I know that seems like a far, far away away. But don't forget that's an option for you and available to you. So have a great week.
Hi. Short things for me. First thing, good news to share actually it's in regard to taking care of on. Currently, Lily only fills up Alton and Baker week, Sunday and Friday, but I've been getting a lot of concerns from students and all of you that that is not enough. So I actually reached out to the facility to see if they can do an extra day, and we will have a refill on Wednesday as well. So hopefully that helps. So hopefully that lessens the amount of times that there aren't products available for you all, the students of Brown University. So if you continue to see lots of products, I'll let them know and I'll keep them in the room. Also, if you all need academic help, I strongly recommend checking out the Academic Achievement Center. They actually came to present to the student's office this past Monday, and it was very informational. They have a lot of services like peer tutoring, academic coaching, peer navigators, and a lot more. I grabbed a lot of their flyers and they're currently in sale. So I recommend checking them out. They're very good and they can be very helpful. And lastly, make sure y'all take care of yourself. Have a great, fantastic break, and reach out to me via Slack or email if y'all need anything. And that's the end of my report.
Are there any objections to adjournment? Meeting is adjourned. Please. Now I have to go to Peter Pit and figure out.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for your polling recommendation. I'm so excited.